The Queen's speech, and in it the Queen has said Britain's economy is the government's #1 priority. In the speech to Parliament, addressing members of the House of Lords and Commons, Her Majesty said measures will be taken to improve the regulation of banks and changes will be made to the Enterprise Bill to make life easier for businesses. But she also spoke of plans to modernise the pension system, reform of the House of Lords and the establishment of a new national crime agency to strengthen border security as well. Well, the Queen also spoke about measures aimed at improving the lives of children and families across the country. But did the speech really do much for families? Well, Peter Grigg is the Director of Research and Policy at the Family and Parenting Institute and joins me now. Good to see you, Mr. Grigg. I mean, give me your overview, because there were a lot of measures in there which will seemingly affect families directly. Do you feel it was fairly radical?
As a charity championing the needs of families, we're glad that families are at the heart of a lot of the measures announced in terms of trying to speed up adoption cases, trying to improve paternity leave and maternity leave situations so that parents can share that with each other, and trying to look at the issue of children with disabilities and special educational needs. We're really glad that's all in there, and that's all good for families. I think it's got to be seen in the context, though, that within an economy that actually is hitting families hard, that even those measures, you know, it won't change the fact that families are feeling the pinch in their pockets.
I mean, that is the point, isn't it? That some of these measures are quite specific and will make, yes, big differences to the families involved. But when you've got things like benefits caps coming in, that affects many, many more people and families.
This is the big issue. I think across the country, families are feeling the pinch and feeling austerity right now. David Cameron, after the riots last year, did point to a family test being applied to all policies so that families can really feel the benefit. And the danger is the unintended consequences of all the austerity measures are hurting families. So things like paternity leave and maternity leave, it does make it quite difficult to take up in an environment where jobs are insecure, and you might worry about your situation if you do go back into the workplace. OK,
so you're saying kind of welcome, but no big change?
Absolutely welcome, and the devil will be in the detail of exactly how much, but we do worry about the overall impact on families across the economy.
I mean, you know, let's look through some of the specific measures. I mean, as you say, you've more or less addressed it anyway on this issue of transferring maternity leave. Now, I mean, that's already been able to happen in a partial manner. That's been extended. But, of course, if you haven't got a job anyway, then it doesn't make any difference to you.
That's one issue. Another issue is that parents or fathers are unlikely to take that up because of the low pay of paternity leave.
Because it's statutory.
Because it's statutory. And so people will worry about their overall income and make those decisions. I mean, we are glad that the choice is there, and we think it's absolutely right to improve the choice for families to make those decisions. But at the end of the day, it's often an economic case whether or not you take that situation. But we're glad that it's recognised that it is fathers taking an increasing role in the upbringing of their children. OK,
and I'm interested because there's always a lot of discussion about it, about speeding up adoption. And we've heard from, I mean, actually, about the previous government as well, that this really should be a speedier process, not least of which for the children involved, getting children out of the care system. As I say, it's been talked about. Do you think it will really happen this time, or the local authorities, it said, get in the way?
There's great commitment to this agenda across the board, across government, and you know, we're optimistic that the process will be improved. However, I think again in the context of cuts, local authorities are finding their resources stretched, so their ability to do the things that will be announced in the bill will be stretched and challenged. But overall, I mean, I don't think anyone would disagree that the idea of speeding up adoption processes is to be welcome.
Yeah, I mean, but the point is, it's talking the talk when we want to walk the walk. And does that go then in terms of the overall budget for dealing with children, for helping children with special educational needs?
I think so. In terms of the special educational needs measures, we're quite glad that in particular they're focusing on the role of parents within that, because we know that it's that contact between schools and parents that really matters for the children's educational outcome. So if the school can improve their dialogue with parents, we think that would be a good measure. But again, you know, the question of resources, we can't escape the fact that schools' budgets will be getting hit, and so we do have to find ways to protect those children with special needs.
OK, Peter, thank you very much indeed, Peter Grigg there. Well,